Chronicles of the Origin System. Excerpt 9. Frost. Frost was forged in the chaos of the old war, a weapon crafted to stand against the sentient tide that threatened to consume the Origin System. As the Orokin Empire faced extinction, Frost's mastery over the biting cold became a critical force on the battlefield. From every region, subjects plead, "Protect us." From their cries, inspiration dawns. Frost was the answer, a guardian designed to shield the vulnerable and crush the unstoppable. His impenetrable walls of ice turned the tides of countless battles, encasing allies in protective barriers while freezing sentient hordes in their tracks. Frost's legacy was born in the frozen wastelands of war, where his powers brought hope to the Empire's failing armies. But Frost's story does not end with the triumphs of the old war. As the Orokin sought to tighten their grip on power, they underestimated the Tenet, their once loyal saviors. Frost, like his brethren, became an instrument of retribution in the rebellion against the Orokin. The Lotus reflects. Wrap your winter's grip around this empire until it knows your name by heart. Frost. The very powers that had shielded the empire now laid waste to it, freezing the golden throne beneath glaciers of betrayals. Frost's icy storms swept through Orokin halls, toppling those who had enslaved him and his kind. Frost remains a paradox, a weapon of war and a guardian of life. The balance between life and death, he represents both destruction and renewal. His cold embrace preserving the dreams of a shattered era while burying the arrogance of its rulers. His legacy endures, a testament to the duality of his purpose, to protect those in need and punish those who abuse their power. Frost's name, like the winter itself, is remembered as both a force of survival and an unyielding agent of justice. Frost stands as a sentinel of unyielding resolve, a guardian forged in the crucible of war and tempered by the ice of betrayal. Wherever the echoes of tyranny rise, his winter's grip will descend once more, freezing the wicked in their hubris and shielding the innocent beneath a mantle of frostbitten justice. Frost, the Coldbringer.
Oh hey dreamers, fancy meeting you guys here. This is a showcase of Frost, the Coldbringer, our level cap, damage cap, breach surge killer. This is a hybrid DPS tank build, extremely satisfying and a ton of fun to play. So with that, let's get right into the abilities and check everything out. Cold status effects from Frost abilities have their duration increased by 100%. Frost gains 50 armor per enemy inflicted with cold status within 15 meters. So tanky, just absolutely ridiculous. And you don't really have to use a lot of duration if you don't want to. I like to though. Breach Surge is our #1 VIP ability subsumed onto here. So open a dimensional breach to overwhelm nearby enemies and cause them to release aggressive surge sparks when damaged. Blind duration of 25 seconds, damage multiplier 5.18x, and status chance that not only procs radiation, but also is able to proc other statuses based on what you are putting on the enemy. Really nice. Super fun. Big damage. Ice Wave. Send a wave of razor sharp crystallized ice towards an enemy, dealing heavy damage. We won't use this one too much, but it is nice to have. You get a nice long freeze duration, you get some damage out of it, 60-degree angle with its wavelength and wave width being, of a pretty nice size. Again, we won't really use it too much, but it's nice to have it just in case. Snow Globe. Also another ability that we might just really not use too much. Frost deep freezes any vapor and moisture in the area, creating a protective sphere with brief invulnerability to boost its strength. Now, ultimately, we could subsume Breach Surge onto Snow Globe, but it's nice to just have in the circumstance that you want to use it. So, by all means, if your build or your playstyle sets towards it, then use it. Avalanche. Summons a treacherous landslide of ice that instantly freezes and shatters all enemies in its radius. Now, this is where the synergy really shines. Breach Surge and Avalanche are absolutely amazing together. Icy Avalanche Augment will obviously build Overguard with a, in this case, an armored Overguard conversion of 70%. It will also do damage, which causes Breach Surge to trigger. Absolutely fantastic. Now, you can choose to use these in a specific order. You can cast Breach Surge, then cast Avalanche, triggering Breach Surge, or you can cast Avalanche and then cast Breach Surge, which will allow you to trigger Breach Surge with an external source, which is what we're going to be doing to really pump in a lot of damage. So to showcase the build itself, since we're going to be putting up both the augments Biting Frost and Icy Avalanche, we don't necessarily have a ton of room to work with as far as pumping up the rest of the abilities. So we're going to go with a general hybrid setup of keeping everything within its mid-range. Strength at 259%, using some of the Archon shards, range, and duration. Now, health conversion is going to play a huge part in this. Health orbs grant 450 armor, stacking up to 3x. Taking damage will consume a stack after 3 seconds. Now, this works exceptionally well with Arcane Battery, the Arcane that we're going to be using. Icy Avalanche is obviously going to build us a lot of overguard, and we're going to be constantly spamming our number 4 ability, Avalanche, which is going to constantly keep us set up for, a ton of overguard. Now, this is going to work really twofold for us. One, it's going to buff up our energy to right around 1060 with the passive and health conversion kicked in. At the same time, it's going to allow us to slot in Biting Frost, and this is really where the magic shines with Frost. Frost gains 200% critical chance and 200% critical damage against frozen enemies. Now, this is additive to, similar mods, so Point Strike, Vital Sense, this will become additive in it. Now, where this really ends up shining is this will cause certain abilities to increase their crit chance and crit damage, namely Breach Surge, which is where we're really going to be synergizing the two abilities. So from there, this is a very energy hungry build, so we will be slotting in Arcane Battery merged in with health conversion and the passive to give us a ton of armor, and then we will be using Arcane Energize to build ourselves up a lot. Our first weapon is going to be the Boar Prime. Now, this is a switch up from probably a lot of normal builds that you're going to see with the Boar Prime. This one is based off a very high fire rate, a ton of multi-shot, and heat damage. We will be focusing entirely on heat inherit for the damage for the Boar Prime. Now, ultimately, when you use this in conjunction with Breach Surge, it is not going to spark up like all the crazy damage numbers that you're going to be used to seeing, but this will absolutely melt any enemy at any level that you come across. Sitting, with a max heat and 192 status chance in the Incarnate form, the Galvanized Hell mod, and then the multi-shot from the Riven, paired in with a negative impact on the Riven, allows for hundreds, if not thousands, of heat procs all at once. Just absolutely insane damage, and you will literally see it almost do no damage for a second and then take the whole health bar away within 1 to 2 ticks. Make sure to slot in Shotgun Vendetta as your Arcane. It's going to give you 180% multi-shot, 75% reload speed. When all is said and done, you will be sitting at somewhere around 81.2 multi-shot with Galvanized Hell, Shotgun Vendetta. The Tenet Plinx is going to be our high damage secondary. Now, this thing is capable by itself of anywhere between 400 million to damage cap, depending on how you mod it. Mod it for corrosive, mod it for viral, do whatever you want. Make sure to put magazine capacity on it, because the more magazine that you have, the more damage that it does with the alt fire. And keep in mind, the alt fire is multiplicative, so it will multiply itself off of Biting Frost, and it will slam red crit. Now, the Sibear, this weapon, God, this weapon is so good. It is absolutely ridiculous. By all means, set it up. If you're looking for 12x, slot in Blood Rush, for Galvanized Reflex, or switch out Galvanized Steel for that. But this was plenty for me. 5x was all I needed to hit the type of damage I wanted to. Make sure you get a Riven that you can work with. I have a pretty base Riven on this one, but it serves the need that I need. Slot it in for melee exposure, mod it for corrosive. You will get corrosive and cold. The passive gives you heavy attack, grants 50% status chance for 4 seconds. This is ridiculous. Now it is additive, but you will stack all of your status effects. It's absolutely ridiculous. Our companion is going to be the Nautilus Prime, like always, because really it's going to do the same thing. They're all roundabout going to do the same thing, and ultimately when we get into these levels, you know, we're not looking for our companion to kill, we're looking for us to kill. Slot in Synth Deconstruct with the Equilibrium Shard. It is going to help out a ton and make sure that, you know, you have a little bit extra energy management. With the Verginasty Prime, make sure that you're modding for crit chance. That way you can use Tenacious Bond, get that 1.2 final crit multiplier on all of your weapons, and, you know, keep the Nautilus above 1200 shield so you can use Reinforced Bond and get a little bit more of the fire rate. Now, depending on how you're really gonna play this, you can go all melee, you can go, you know, with your guns, or you can just cast the abilities themselves. If you do that, you're always going to want to cast Breach Surge first and then cast the number 4, because Avalanche will trigger Breach Surge as sparks, and that's fine. But if you're looking to go for those damage cap numbers, you're going to want to make sure that Breach Surge does not get tarnished by any other damages outside of it. So cast the number 4, cast the number 1, do all the damage in the world, see the big beautiful numbers, destroy everything in your path. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Hairless Persian, Arca, Olive Grams, and the 2 new fine gentlemen that we met through the recruiting channel, Ice JC and Sneak Rat. They made running these missions super easy. My schedule has been pretty wild lately, starting a new film and kicking off live shows again with my band. But, you know, it was just great having the support of, you know, some good friends. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. I know I'm a new creator, but you guys have made me feel so welcome in the community. So with that, this is Chronicles of the Origin System. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the void. Later, dreamers.